It is December 14th, 2014, in the last quarter of the moon. I'm out here at Sspopiikimi at the Turtle Waters with my good friend John Nightingale. We're going to take a walk around, but before that we have a great horned owl carcass that was found just across the river from here. It was a little floodplain meadow, hey? Where you found this?
Yes, yeah, between the Helen Shula Center and the highway here, about halfway.
Okay, so there's a little floodplain meadow, and just across the river from here. And I'm curious whether this is the same owl as I saw last week in the Owl Wood. But we're gonna check it, do a little post-mortem, and see if we can determine what it was that killed the owl in any case. Alright, so here we have the innards of the owl. And this is the stomach we're looking at here?
Well, this is the intestine.
This is the intestine.
Yeah.
Intestine is not full of...
No, it isn't at all.
Much at all, it's pretty thin.
And that's the spleen.
Liver looks good.
Yeah, the liver's good. The spleen is now changing color, but that's
to be
expected.
Getting that green, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. Well, there is a bit of stuff in there, but...
Well, once it's in the intestine, it should be crushed down anyway, right?
Yeah,
I mean, for some,
and you know...
But,
yeah.
I mean, they cough up the pellets of the harder stuff.
Yeah. Well, there is a bit of stuff there, but...
So the big question is what's in the stomach then?
And I suspect that must be... Yeah, this is the gizzard. Which as you know, birds have a sort of a hard stomach for grinding and... See? Yeah, well that's pretty empty.
It is.
But again, there's no suggestion of infection. This is a healthy sort of... Considering it's at least a day old now, I think that's fairly healthy. A little bit of hemorrhaging now, but...
Yeah,
so,
but that's to be expected, eh?
So, and the liver is in good shape. Okay, and then the heart was in good shape. No hemorrhaging on the heart. And the muscles were nice. They were they were healthy. There's a little bit of subcutaneous fat.
Right. So you can see the bruise in here, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And so it's the right side of the bird that is hemorrhaged. On the outside here.
Right.
And I just don't want anybody coming in here doing this. See? Now look at the difference there.
No, that's a lot of blood in the tissue there.
Yeah, I know. And it's the left side, if you can.
I think it's got hit by a car.
That's my feeling, right?
Yeah.
I just found it
strange.
strange.
That's just too much blood in the tissue. If
and
it was,
it's gone now, but there was actually clotted blood in here. Okay.
Right.
I tried to see, and there's the kidney, but I tried to feel to see if there was any sort of entry wound that,
if it was an eagle or something, or a pellet.
Or a pellet, or there was no external trauma in terms of penetrating wounds, as far as I could tell.
Right.
I felt around to see if there was anything lodged, but that was pretty massive hemorrhaging.
No, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much blood for even if it was shot like with a pellet.
Yeah.
If it was shot with a bullet, maybe. But with a pellet,
but then there would have been a very obvious entry wound, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there is a bit of fat, I grant you, and I realise we're talking sort of wintertime almost.
Yeah. Why wasn't it? Why didn't it have anything in its belly is the question, right?
Yeah.
But definitely this is a trauma case.
Yes.
This is not a starvation sickness case.
No. Well, I wondered, to be honest, whether if it was starved, And if it was a little emaciated and there's certainly no food in the gut, maybe it was disoriented. It certainly got whacked, maybe by a vehicle. Obviously it didn't kill it, because we're at least 1/4 of a kilometre as the crow flies, or as the eagle flies, to where I found it.
Right.
And there's no power lines there, there's nothing, and the high level bridge, it wouldn't be hitting in the high level bridge.
No.
So I think it was maybe a severe glancing blow, but it was still sufficiently able to fly, because the wings are in good shape.
Yeah, these are tough birds, so
Yeah.
these horned owls.
So what would that be, 4 feet?
That's a good spread. I'd say 3.5 to 4 feet.
That's a foot, 2 feet. Yeah, I would.
Not quite 4 feet, but pretty close.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it was it's a beautiful bird. It's a little more glazed now, but you see, there's no sign of any evidence of injury on the head. So
Right.
what it was sort of was flying, I'm assuming, and it was the right side. It got severely whacked here.
Yeah.
Managed to fly as far as it could, and then just careened into the ground head first, and that would also make sense, wouldn't it?
I'm guessing it came over that bridge drive over there and
Yes.
got
Yeah.
whacked and
Yeah.
then flew as far as it could.
Here, because it probably would have fallen in the river, and
Right.
and I can't. My biggest concern was eliminating, because I'd have been really annoyed if we found a pellet, or some. I mean, it's bad enough to get hit by a car, but that's avoidable, so unavoidable. But a pellet would have been very, very significant as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, this is too much trauma. I think it's for sure
Yeah.
a vehicle.
Yeah. So what do you feel this might be the bird over here, Ryan?
It could be. Let's go look and see if we can find him.
Okay. Okay.
Just looking at the beaver lodge here. You can see that the snow's been disturbed on this side of the lodge.
Yeah.
They've been coming up and down.
Yeah.
John and I were just noticing there's an open water pool here with a couple of, it looks like some beaver tube material on the edge. Not a lot of snow up on top here. Took a look at where the weasel was staying, and because there's not much snow around, we can't really tell whether he's there or not. Making our way along the west length. The porcupine wasn't up in these trees. The other day she was out at the bullberry brush out this way, so maybe we'll see her out there. But it's about 4 degrees, so it's a nice temperature.
Yeah. Small fluffy chickadees up there.
Oh yes. Alright, so John and I are a little bit confused over here at the south end of the pond. There is a lot of tracks. I mean, it looks like somebody's been using this as an animal raceway.
Skating rink.
Animal skating rink. Between over here, it looks like they do the turnaround and go back this way, and there's just a ton of tracks out on the widest part of the south pond. I'm guessing they're coyote tracks. I might go down on the peninsula and check it out to confirm. But what they could possibly be doing, making this many circles and circuits around the south pond, it's totally beyond me, unless this is an accumulation of tracks over a couple of weeks.
That's a lot.
But that's a lot of tracks. It snowed pretty heavily yesterday, so it's a little bit surprising, but they may be old tracks. They may be old that are just kind of like sunk into the ice.
Some tracks right here.
There are.
Are those deer?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Well, I'm not going out to check that.
Exactly. Might go down on the peninsula. It looks like a lot of these tracks pass in that little area of the peninsula. There is definitely some open water here, though, around a couple of places. Here's another site just down here by these. I don't know if this was an old pier or what.
Yeah.
This used to be an oxbow. You see, this is over here. You got this levee built up.
And right over there is where I think there is a connection with the river, because it's usually always ice-free.
Yeah, definitely. That's a place I call the South Pond Spring, but it's certainly fed by the river.
Expanding and contracting, or?
I think so. We're out here surveying the edge of the Owlwood, and as we've been doing so, the sticky snow on the side of the high level bridge has been falling down in massive chunks. I don't know if you can, it's hard to tell here from the viewfinder whether you can see what I'm seeing here or not. One of the legs of this high level you can see has been cleared of snow from about the first partition down. All that fell down. Another one went on this side over here, just crashing down. Checking the Owlwood, and we're not seeing as yet any sign of the owl that was here a week and a half ago along this tree line, and unfortunately our speculation is that this is quite likely the owl that had the traumatic death. You can hear the melt off going on behind me. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll take a walk through the Owlwood and see if we can find him. If not, my best guess is that this is the owl that got hit by the car or what have you. Whatever it was that caused that kind of excessive bleeding in the muscle there on the one side. We've just made our way through the western edge of the Owlwood and have yet to come across any owls here, which adds to the suspicion that the one who was found deceased on the other side of the river may have been the same one that I saw here a week and a half ago or what have you. John was also noting a few minutes ago that it is curious that the gut track of that owl was more or less empty. There wasn't anything really to speak of. A little bit of hair in the spleen, but not much at all otherwise to speak of. So it had eliminated anything that it had recently eaten. This branch over here is one of the places right here where I often see the male horned owl of the couple who's nested down here in the past. He's not here today. Hate to say it, but I think that was the owl. Okay, good news. likely wrong. A great horned owl just flew past us.
There's a magpie up there.
At very close range. And landed somewhere over this direction. There is a magpie kind of mobbing it this way. See if we can find it, but that's good news. There is an owl in the Owlwood, so perhaps the dead one is not the one of the Owlwood, or at least there's an owl left. Hopefully it's not, this is not the female having lost her male. But in any case, let's see if we can find her. Extremely camouflaged, this one. I think when I was making that last video I was standing, oh yeah, I see her. I was standing right underneath her the last time. I see her, John. She's up fairly high.
Yeah, I was looking at that nest there.
Yeah, that's their old nest.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can, from right where I'm standing you can see her. She's in that kind of V. Move over a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. That's a bigger bird than the one we've just looked at.
Yeah, so there's a possibility then that that's the female.
It's also quite a bit browner, isn't it, in colour? So this was the nesting?
Yeah, this was the old owl nest right up here.
Shall we do a diversion so as not to disturb it?
Yeah, I think so. Already mucked her up.
Yeah. So
this is the South Pond Spring. We have a small family of Sspopiikimi down here. Not seeing the mallards today. There has been a mallard couple down here. Every time I visited, that owl is right there.
Now, isn't it? I think it's moved, hasn't it?
No, it's in the same place.
Oh, okay.
The owl wood. Alright, mallards just came out of the reeds here, just came out of the bulrush. 2 pairs today as compared to the usual 1 pair we've been seeing. Plus the family of geese, and pretty obvious that these are some of this year's Sspopiikimi with their parents. As you can see, some of them are smaller than others. Looks like 4 goslings and the 2 parents. Alright, so we're out here at South Pond, looking at the tracks. Just a ton of tracks out here on the wide South Pool. I think they're all coyote tracks. It's kind of amazing how many there are of them.
They're already melting.
Right.
The detail simply is not there.
Yeah, I wish we could go out there and check them, but ice is a little bit too thin for that. You can see at the edges here, it's pretty much open. I think they're definitely coyote tracks, so. Okay, so John and I finished our walkabout in the wetlands. Not a whole lot to report, but am glad to have found that there is at least that owl still in the owl wood. So I think the likelihood is that the owl that is in the owl wood is still the same owl who I saw before. I'm hoping that it's not, that the couple has been split up and that one of them has been deceased, but I can't confirm that for sure. Whatever the case may be, at least there's still the one. Not much else to report from Sspopiikimi today, but be back there within a few days to check it out again. This morning's walkabout was just a quick cursorial visit.